Cherokee Stadium in Athens, Tennessee. You've joined into our second Cherokee Game Day of the season, and I'm joined once again by my broadcast partner, Jared Wright. Jared, in our first Cherokee Game Day, we were fortunate enough to be joined by the voice of the Cherokees, for real, Johnny Kaufman, and we have some special guests tonight as well, and I'm going to introduce them in just a second. But it's a great night for high school football, and it's a big region game for the Cherokees, Jared.
And it's homecoming, and I think that's very fitting with the guest we have with us here tonight, and just should be a great night for high school football. We expect the temperatures to even be into high school football temperatures later on this evening, which will be even better than it is right now because it's hot.
It is just a little hot. Let's talk about the region just a little bit, because there's some big game. Everybody in the region is in region play tonight, and I think that's certainly the first time this season that that's happened. And, of course, Jared, obviously Ooltewah here at McMinn County. But there's a couple other interesting games. One of those is East Hamilton will be at Howard. And that's going to be interesting to see a lot of speed on the field in those two teams.
Yeah, between both of those teams, very fast-paced offense, and we'll see how they go. Howard had a tough matchup last week with Sequoia up in Madisonville, so they're trying to get their second win of the season. But East Hamilton trying to, pick up a region win to keep that kind of hunt for second place, since McMinn at least has got a game ahead of them right now. And
then really big in region standings, I think Ray County travels to Walker Valley.
Yes, I think out of the region matchup for this week, if you look at just at records alone, I think that's kind of the matchup that a lot of people are going to be looking at, and a lot of that has to do with a lot of the hype around Walker Valley. Yep. They beat Cleveland. They've played some good games. They got shut out by Bradley Central, and we don't have to talk about Bradley anymore, except for Shajan Bradley, who's sitting over here. But I think that'll be a true test to see who comes out of that on top, to see how close, or if it is a close game or if it's not. That will help McMinn, but they've got to take care of the Owls here tonight first.
Well, three teams at the top of Region 4-5A, Walker Valley, McMinn County, and Ray County, all 1-0 in region play. I know it's early. And then East Hamilton, Ooltewah, and Howard all winless. So all those things are going to change a little tonight. But Walker Valley, certainly the hot hand coming out at 4-1, and so
it's at Walker Valley. At Walker Valley, so I think that could play a huge factor in that one.
Absolutely. Well, let me introduce our guest to you, and I'm going to read a little short bio on you guys, and then we'll really get into the conversation. This is going to be a lot of fun tonight. Shazon Bradley joins us. He's a 1988 graduate of McMinn County High School, and he played for the great John Mullinax, legendary John Mullinax. Highlights, there's a lot of them, and we'll talk about many more than what I'm going to mention right now. In 1986, you guys were 9-2, Shazon. Smoky Bowl winners, 28-21 over Knox Central. You remember that game?
Yes, very, very fast game. Fast game.
It was my first game as I got to play in as a freshman.
Is that right? Okay, yes, very good. 1987. The Cherokees would go 11-2. They had a big 14-13 overtime win over Bradley that year. Round 1 winners over McCauley 14-7. Round 2 win over Shelbyville 38-16 before losing in the semifinals at that stage. That was round 3 to Jefferson County, a really talented Jefferson County team. I remember that team very well. 1988 to 1991, a 4-year letterman at the University of Tennessee, and I remember those days as well. I grew up in Knoxville, and I was a little ahead of you actually, but I still went to those games and watched all. I don't care how old you get. When you're at those Tennessee games, I'm always 10 years old watching them. They're just big. They seem bigger than life to me. Drafted by the Green Bay Packers, and then after football, we'll talk about that professional boxing career. I've got you down as 21-0 with 17 knockouts.
I read somewhere it's 23-0, so we're going to find out from the man himself. That's
21-23.
23.
Let's go with that.
Let's go with 23. And then we have Terry Moore here, and we're glad to have you along, Terry, for sure. 1990 graduate of McMinn County High School, also played for the legendary John Mullinax. Junior year, we said we weren't going to talk about Bradley, but I like to check those Bradley scores out.
These are the good ones to talk
Junior
about.
year win over Bradley 22-17, and then they go down to Bradley and win 38-14. You guys had their numbers in your day.
Yeah, it was big time, and it was a big rivalry back then also. I mean, there was some stuff that happened where they come up here and did some stuff to our football field my senior year and all that. So I think that score kind of some get back.
Yeah, I got you. You a multi-sport star in football, basketball, and track, and opportunity to play at Middle Tennessee State University. Some things changed there. We can get into that after a while as well, but you changed course, went into the United States Marines, a 4-year stint, much of that overseas, and let me say, and I know Jared echoes this, thank you for your service in the United States Marines.
Thank you.
You're recently on the coaching staff at Elizabethton High School, and you've coached in three straight.
Yes, sir.
State championships, championship matchups, winning 2 of those. That's an impressive thing. And then of course Elizabethton, just checking them out, 4-0 right now, ranked number 3 in Class 4A.
Yes, sir.
And that's tough football. That's tough sledding up there in that area. So that's our guest tonight, and so guys, we are more than happy to have you on board. How's it feel to be back in McMinn County?
It's always great to come home and visit, see the old faces and some new faces. Because I probably speak for Season also, where we're not hardly home a lot. There's a lot of new faces, a lot of new kids that we don't know, but we're trying to close that gap and get out and talk to some of these kids and hopefully make a difference on keeping them out here playing sports.
Terry, you live up, I guess, in that Elizabethton area?
I live in Johnson City.
Johnson City.
Yes, sir.
And Shazan, where do you reside at these days?
I live in Knoxville, but McMinn County, I've told them all across the world. I've been in Italy, France, Canada, Russia. I've been just about everywhere. But they always wonder, where you come from, why are you like you are? And I said, it's where I'm from. It's not where I'm at, And back home where we're from, we're taught to be respectful, treat each other the way you want to be treated, and that's how we do it.
Well, let's go ahead and kick things off with your time, and this is kind of directed towards both of you. Your time at McMinn County High School. Who wants to jump in there and just talk about some of the memories you had of being here? Now, let's get. Were you guys had the new school opened up here yet? I know the football field, but you weren't playing football here, though, right?
No. Actually, we were practicing here, and a guy named Henry we were just practicing, and the field was hard. And the guy about where we sat, a guy named Henry, I can't think of his first name right off the bat. His leg just broke. He put his foot in the ground. It turned. It broke.
Oh,
and that was when Mullinax was like, no more practice, no more nothing over there until we get the field right.
And then we started practicing over at the old football field and everything. And I did get to play on this football field in the old timers game twice. Oh. So I came out of retirement when I was like 26 years old and playing the old time. And Coach Mullinax actually coached the game, and I had a pretty good game.
Here's Coach Bo Cagle kept making his way.
Yeah.
Talk to us here a second. What do you think about these guys being back? Let me just give you that.
Man, I'm excited as I can be. Anybody got any eligibility left over here?
Hey, just put them out there. We'll change names up. It won't matter.
I think Udawal's got a nose, man, about the size of Shazan right here.
Wow. He's
a big dude. I hope he ain't as tough as that 40 that used to wear it here.
But it's always good to come back and see Bo. Bo's like a little brother to me. His mom is a big mentor of mine. I had her as a 3rd grade teacher, and she has not left my life since. And I watched Bo grow into the young man he is now, and the great
like
coach
you said, young. You heard that?
Young. and heck of a family, and I really love being a part of them whenever I do come home. His mom's the first person I greet when I get here. She gives me a big hug and get my day going, and I start yelling at Bo.
Yeah.
I went to Naoda, and she was a 3rd grade teacher there. She always wanted to get me in her class, and she never could. So I got into the class over from her. She turns her whole classroom around so she could keep her eye on me all day, every day. And one day I got into something. I don't know what I got into, but I got a paddling. And my friend Louis Campbell said, I saw smoke come off the line, man. She tore you up good. But actually, I was at Bo's house when he was a kid. He was on the wood pile and was riding his three-wheeler down, flipped over and knocked his front 2 teeth out. And so we go back about that far. Yeah. So and the good thing about her is as a kid, my childhood went great. The first book I was ever reading, someone read to me, was her. She wrote me. She read
Big Casey.
Mighty Casey. Yeah. Yep. And I'll never forget it. And at that point, I wanted to be a baseball player. Started out playing baseball. That's our football family. Yeah. Don Reed family, like, hey man, you can play baseball. You're a decent baseball player, but you're a football player. Come over here with us. So I eventually went over and started playing football, and the love for football kind of took over, and that's how I ended up doing it. But Miss Tager was a very...
But one more on her. I didn't go to Nyota. I never went to Nyota. Athens City was out for some reason, and I went to school with her. I got a paddling at Nyota when I went there, so I think paddling was on the mind.
Well, it's this one, and young men are going to be young men, and they're going to get out of trouble. You're going to get out of line, and you need to be tightened up. Right. You know what I mean? And one thing about that tightening up is it lasts forever. Yep. You know, it gets that line started. Hey man, you can't. You know, you got to stay in the middle.
There's consequences to every.
That's right.
That's
right. Well, it's good to see you guys.
Good luck, buddy. Good luck.
Thank you, Coach Bo Cagle. He's doing, guys, he does a phenomenal job here. Recently, well, just this after the big win versus Oak Ridge a week ago, named Coach of the Week in the state of Tennessee. So that's well deserved. And let's stay on coaches for a second. Let's talk about Coach John Mullinax and your memories of him and practices and
that man was incredible. I mean. He was a motivator. He was giving. He taught. I mean, there was just so many layers to him as a coach and as a man. And his prior background was a Vietnam vet that not too many people talk about.
Helicopter
right. So he brought a toughness that was like nobody's business. And I mean. It's different now as I coach, and I seen how he coached and how we got coached back then, and the difference that we have to coach today with these young men and women is totally different. I mean, it was a no nonsense. You get out here, we're going to do it right. We're going to do it right the first time, and we're going to go on and move on and so on and so forth. But never did that man not hesitate till the day he died. He loved me. I know he loved Shazan. I mean, I talked to him. He was one of the first ones when I won a state championship as a coach to reach out to me and tell me how proud he was of me and everything. And not only him, I mean, you had Coach Ratledge, who's still coaching, and his son plays for Georgia.
Yeah.
Tate, and Coach Elliott, who was coached down in Cleveland, and Coach Gene Davis, and Coach Storka and Coach Parks, God rest his soul. I mean, we had some good men who showed us that everything we do out here was what we're going to be doing in life down the road. And that's how I think as a coach now when I teach and coach the young men I coach is everything you do out here is what you're going to be doing as an adult. It's just on a different mindset. You're going to have to get a job. You're going to have to wear a uniform. You're going to have to show up on time. You're going to have to be praised. You're going to have to be criticized. You're going to have to work as a team, so on and so forth. So when you learn these characteristics here in a sport, then it's easy for you in life.
Yeah.
Real easy for you in life.
And you get those characteristics through good coaching, good teamwork. I was looking at an old annual today in my office, and it's all like a coaching staff, and I can't remember the year exactly, but you had Mullinax, you had Grubb, you had Mike Frazier, you had and I'm like, good gosh, what a coaching staff.
Yes.
You know, there have been some staffs come through here that put some good teams together.
When you look at the influence they obviously had, as Terry's gotten into coaching as well, and how many guys have gone on to become successful coaches and trying to mentor those young men. I guess my question for both of you would be is, you know, people talk about it a long time. After they get out of school and down the road, they realize Coach was pushing us and we hated it and it was probably awful. How long did it take you all to realize, what the impact he had on you all? Was it that quick after school? And, of course, you're going to the Marines. That's a whole – that could do it, too.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and let Shazan speak.
To me, the first time I met Big John, I was only in the 8th grade. And I had come over here and we had a drill going on, and, man, it was a physical drill. And that's another thing. I know I was here the other night, and I watched Oak Ridge and McNeil County play. And McNeil County hit him in the mouth.
Yeah,
exactly what happened. They got hit in the mouth. Now, listen, I've been all over the world. I've been in the ring with Lennox Lewis. I've been in the ring with George Foreman, some of the greatest, the guy from all over the world, Mike Tyson, all of them. But let me tell you something. When you stand there man to man, toe to toe with them, and you do it McNeil County style, they will back down. Yeah. They don't want none of that. Yeah. And one thing about football is, we talk, even about the people that I played with in college. Joe Hardy called me a few weeks ago. He had a 10-year run in the NFL. And he said, he called me up and said, "Hello, what's going on?" He said, "Man, I was thinking about it." I said, what's up, brother? He said, "Man, you're the best utility player that I've ever saw. You're the only man that I saw look like Tarzan and play like Tarzan."
Yeah.
But and to them guys, I'm probably the toughest guy in the world. But it's not that I'm tough. I was taught how to play the game the right way. Right way. Yep. And that's so important. If you notice, when they went to switching the rules and changing the rules, people changing the rules on the game and never played the game. When they started changing the rules, no hand-to-head combat, this and that, all of a sudden everybody's knees were going out.
Yeah.
I need my knees. The doctor needs his knees. The dentist needs his knees. Everybody needs his knees to get around and do the job.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So we got to figure out a way to make it safe. You shoot him inside out, and nothing happens.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's where we're at with the game.
Guys, we're gonna have to take a quick break here, 60-second break. I want to thank some folks, Star Regional Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. That is a new organization here in town as far as the sports medicine goes, and they are sponsoring this show tonight. We appreciate them so much. I want to say thanks to Josh Bogus and Bogus Videography, who takes care of getting us on the air, and he'll be taking care of the football game tonight as well. It's going to be a great broadcast. And then, of course, the station, WJSQ WLAR, Randy Slager, Karen Webb, Will Fletcher, and Dan Fletcher do a great job. But right now we're going to take a 60-second break, and we'll be right back with more comments from Terry and Shazan.
Count on Star Orthopedics and Sports Medicine to get you back in the game. From injuries to joint repair, our team offers treatment for knee, hip, foot, and shoulder pain. Same-day appointments are available through the week. Walk-in appointments are available during the Saturday morning sports clinic, open weekly at 9 a.m. throughout the high school football season. Don't wait. Call Star Orthopedics and Sports Medicine at 746-2941 or visit starorthopedics.com so you don't miss a play. Count on Star Orthopedics and Sports Medicine to get you back in the game. From injuries to joint repair, our team offers treatment for knee, hip, foot, and shoulder pain. Same-day appointments are available through the week. Walk-in appointments are available during the Saturday morning sports clinic, open weekly at 9 a.m. throughout the high school football season. Don't wait. Call Star Orthopedics and Sports Medicine at 746-2941 or visit starorthopedics.com so you don't miss a play.
All right, we're back at Cherokee Stadium, and in fact, I should mention we're set up tonight inside the new McMinn County Performance Center, and as you can tell, guys, we're not quite there just yet, but it's going to more than double the size of the weight room as it was, which was basically where it's not carpeted to your left there, and I think Josh is getting us a shot of where we're at, getting very close. This place will be full of weights, and this is going to be a nice facility for the Cherokees.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, very nice facility. Lockman asked me that I want to come and look at it a few weeks ago. I said, only if you got a box of donuts and a box of chicken.
Box of donuts and a box of chicken. We got to start asking for stuff like that, Jared.
I'm telling you, we can work on it.
I'm going to ask you to look over your shoulder here. So the Cherokees, some of the players making their way. We're still about an hour or so away from kickoff, but players are making their way onto the field. I want to talk to you about the atmosphere of Friday nights. And if you go back to those times, what that meant to you, and you may even one of you may want to just talk about the old playing at the old field versus playing at the new and what it was like over there. I've heard lots of great stories from that field and stadium.
That field, and I'll never forget it. It was my freshman year, Shazan's junior year. We was playing Ray County, and Shazan was highly recruited, and they had Andy Kelly.
Yep.
Okay.
And he was highly recruited. And I swear every news station around the world, every coach in college, and I swear it's probably 10,000 people there at that game that night. And it was just
standing room only.
Standing room only.
Sure.
And being a player out there and just looking around and seeing all those people and how the crowd was reacting. And like I said, I was a freshman. That was my first game I got thrown into.
Oh, man.
And, oh, God, Andy Kelly burnt me like a piece of toast. and then I got put on offense and fumbled the ball because the lights was too big for me.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget those atmospheres over at that stadium. And especially going into our locker room at halftime, because our locker room over there was something else.
How so?
Yeah, it wasn't the best sense of building.
It wasn't good.
And so it was always let's get in, let's get out situation kind of stuff. So you want to be playing good, so you'd have to stay in there long.
Shazan, any memories of some games over there?
And the good thing about that whole situation is we played in McMinn, we played with the Cowboys, we played as kids all while we were young. We played on the field, and McMinn was like, it was like the biggest of the biggest. Everybody wanted to be a Cherokee, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to go in there, and one side of the field was like 5 yards shorter on one side going in the zone, on the end zone than it was on the other side. And one night, Coach Myers called it in, and we had a big hump in the deal too. So I like to get on that hump and come down the hump and give you a little bit more speed and do an extra push. So one night, Coach could have called a play. I'm like, man, you calling the wrong way. We called the other way. It's short on this side, probably going to go down this hill right here. You know what I mean? So he never did like for us to give us any kind of input on what he was saying. But I'm like, hey, Coach, I'm just trying to make it easy on myself, man.
You guys knew all the little idiosyncrasies of the field, for sure. What about positions that you guys played in high school? And you kind of moved around a little, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I started out as I was a center. I was center and nose tackle. I was a little fat, chubby kid, about like I am now. I'm a fat, chubby adult. But I started out there, and I started growing a little bit. I got a little bit fashion. I got to moving around a little bit. But you got to, I grew up in a place called Naoda. So up Naoda, everybody plays satellite football. So if you're standing, you could be right. I was riding my big wheel and riding my own business, and we needed a football player. So that day I was a linebacker, first time I ever played, and I tackled a guy that was like, from there on I was in the game. But what I'm saying is, you learn to play everything, and I think that was one of the. Coach Majors wrote me a letter about 2 years before he passed, apologizing for not using me to my full potential. He said, I never realized how much you knew about the game until that day you caught a pass, you caught a touchdown pass. Mm-hmm. I mean, how in the heck is my defensive linebacker, All-American linebacker, that I moved to end, I moved to tackle, then I moved to back to linebacker, and that's really a fullback, how does he have so much knowledge about the game? Well, I'm from McMinn County, man.
Yeah.
You got Billy Vestal, you got, R.T. Smith, you got some of the greatest basketball player I ever saw in my life, and I saw Michael Jordan live 100 times, is a guy named Mark Looney. He couldn't play basketball because he kept having seizures. But he can shoot a right hand and left. Today he's shooting right-handed. Tomorrow he's shooting left-handed. Wow. You know what I mean? So we grew up in that type of it's a McMinn County atmosphere. Yep. You know what I mean? And knock him in the mouth and be tough. You don't have to hit him after the whistle blows. Wait till the next play. I'm gonna get him in.
And that's the same. That's exactly the same goal that Coach Cagle brings to the table now. What he wants his teams to do is to be the most physical team on the field.
Right.
And I think for the most part, Jared, we've seen a lot of them.
I think
they typically are.
And it goes back to John Mullinex. I mean, that's the way he obviously coached you all. Coach Cagle played for him. He knows that, and that tradition has continued and still continues. You may not be the biggest and best team on the field that night, but you're not going to get outworked if you're wearing the black and gold. That's for sure.
Well, the one thing that Shazan was trying to say in that I think was the message was missed is we was unselfish. We did what we was asked, and nowadays some of these kids are locked into a position. They're unwilling to play. If they play quarterback, oh no, I'm just playing quarterback. I ain't playing quarterback. Well, we need your help to win games.
Yep.
Yes.
And so we got kids who won't play both sides of the ball now, and I'm like, do what? I never came off the football field. It was 48 minutes of football.
Exactly.
It's like, you telling me you can't play linebacker for 1 minute and give me two on the fullback? So that's what it is now. Is there was unselfish. We was taught unselfishness. Like I said, Shazan, I came here. I was a tailback. Well, coach like, no, we need you to play wingback because you got good hands. You can catch.
Yep.
All right. I dabbled in a little bit of outside linebacker, but I was a better defensive back. But I was also small until my senior year. I went from my junior year, I weighed 160 pounds, and Coach Elliott came to me and he was like, Terry, if you're going to play college football, you got to get bigger.
Yeah.
And I dedicated myself to the weight room, and I came back at 200 pounds. And Coach Moore, I walked through the door, and he about flipped. He was like, oh, my God, are you on steroids? I'm like, Coach, what? He was like, you gained 40 pounds. Hold up, let's run you in the 40. All right, I got to move your linebacker. No, we're going to keep you at defensive back. Oh, my God, you're huge.
Yeah. Well, Terry, they asked Terry where he was going to play. They told me where I was going. Hey, Dean Riley's wasn't playing, man. Whatever Big Dean said is what you had to do, man. I'm telling you, that guy's one of the scariest. He's the scariest man I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
Man, I've wrestled him, I boxed him, and guess what? I lost every freaking time. I've never beat him at nothing. I'm going to give him in the golf game. He's getting a little stiff looking now. I'm going to give him the golf game, see if I can get him. You know what I mean? He's a little older.
You're going to find something. Find something you can get him at.
Get him at something.
Shazan, let's leap forward a little bit to your career at Tennessee. Let's start with just how you got there. Who recruited you, and how did Johnny Majors sign you?
I had about 90-something
offers.
I had a bunch of wrestling offers. I had a bunch of track offers. I was just a kid that wanted a better life.
Yep.
And I wanted a better life for my children. And I was willing to pay any price.
Yep.
It didn't matter what the price was. When we sat down at that table to negotiate this deal, whatever you said the price was is the price I was going to pay. And I had to figure out, how you going to get there, And that, I wanted out of here. I had a horrible childhood. It was horrible. But along the way, I met some marvelous, some unbelievably great people, and some unselfish people. Because I didn't do it by myself. First of all, there was God. God done it all.
Yeah.
I'm just a vessel that He uses to do what I done. But I had a 7th grade English teacher. Her name was Miss Housley. I had a 9th grade home ec teacher. A lady. Her name was Mara Raleigh. One of the prettiest people you ever seen. Just a lady. Every time I look at a lady, I know what a lady looks like because it was her. And I lived with Ruth Buckner forever. Miss Buckner was a redheaded. She was cruel to me, very cruel. I had a problem reading, and she fixed it. So she had this machine, and what she done is she taught me how to speed read. Take all the D's, the A's, the N's, and all of that out, and it would give you a headache. It make you dizzy. It was hard. It was just hard. So finally, I mastered the way I could take a book and do it normally. Then she turned the book upside down. She looked at me and said, listen to me. He said, listen, let me tell you something, big boy. If you don't make it, it's your own fault. You know what I'm saying? So I had a bunch of unselfish people to take care of me. I didn't do this by myself. You know what I mean? I had help. A lot of help.
Yep.
So Larry Roseberry helped us both. Like there was no tomorrow.
I want to get back to the UT, but Terry, let me bring you in while we're talking about just overcoming.
Yes, sir.
Things. Terry, let me bring you in and tell us your story and just how you achieved what you wanted to in life.
Well, if people don't know, me and Shazan are cousins. We're more like brothers, but we're cousins, and we kind of had a similar childhood. My mother was a single mother, welfare. I grew up in the projects here. I probably lived in all of them, Clem Jones, McMinn Villa, Forest Hills, all those things. And but my mother was, even though she had a 7th grade education, she was very street smart, and she always gave me words of encouragement that no matter where we are right now, I can't settle for that. That I have to be smart, and I have to be smart in school, and I have to do good at sports and always be my own person, not be a follower, and always a leader, and those things like that. And I lived by that. I'd never tried to get in the in crowd, didn't want to be in the in crowd. I just kind of did things my way, and I was kind of shunned for it a little bit, so on and so forth. But with that said, had some very hard times, but stayed strong and stayed smart, knew I wanted to get out of here, and I thought football was my way. Went to Middle Tennessee State, scored 19 on my ACT, did all the things right, but I got up there and I didn't have 2 years of a language. So back then they was really super strict about it. Went through the whole football right when school got ready to start. Coach Boots Donnelly calls me in the office and he's like, Terry, we want to keep you here, but we can't. And so I was distraught and came home and thought my world was upside down for a minute, but as good people, strong-minded people do, you look for another avenue, and I just happened to be going by a Marine Corps recruiter one day, and working out and running. I was still in great shape from college, and he's like, "Hey, what's your story, son?" And I told him. He's like, "What if you play football in the Marine Corps?" Hooked me right off the bat. I mean, he sunk it in. I was like, "What?" And everything, and I was like, all right, let's talk. And we talked, and I was like, sir, if I can't leave within a week, I'm not joining. And he's like, there's no way we can get you out of here in a week, son. And I was like, all right, bye. And I left. Well, by the time I got home, phone's ringing. He was like, are you serious? You'd leave in a week? And I was like, yes. And I joined the Marine Corps for 3 days, and no one knew I was in the Marine Corps.
We're looking for Red. Where is
everybody thinking I'm missing on a milk carton. I'm in the Marine Corps.
And what happened to him is you have to have 2 years of foreign language. You got to have 2 years of
consecutive
years. Yes, of French, Spanish, or
and I had Spanish and Latin.
Yeah, Spanish and Latin, and no one picked it up. So they dropped the ball. They dropped the freaking ball. Yeah. Cal might be a doctor or lawyer today if that hadn't happened. You know what I mean? We can't. It's so important to pay attention in detail in terms of what's going on. You know, I got a boy. He's at Cornell. He turned Harvard down for Cornell, and he's a pre-med student. Now, when he gets home this summer, I'm gonna stick a thing in his jaw when he's asleep and take that to the doctor and make sure that's my DNA. Because I'm like, man, that ain't nowhere in the world, you know. But what I'm saying is, someone missed that. And to this day, every day I think about what happened to him. Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah. Guys, I'm going to take another 30-second break here in just a second. When we come back, we're going to talk about rings, Terry.
Yes,
we're going to talk about Tennessee just a little bit. Okay. But right now, let's take another 30-second break. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Count on Star Orthopedics and Sports Medicine to get you back in the game. From injuries to joint repair, our team offers treatment for knee, hip, foot, and shoulder pain. Same-day appointments are available through the week. Walk-in appointments are available during the Saturday morning sports clinic, open weekly at 9 a.m. throughout the high school football season. Don't wait. Call Star Orthopedics and Sports Medicine at 746-2941 or visit starorthopedics.com so you don't miss a play.
All right, we're back at Cherokee Stadium. We're with Shazan Bradley and Terry Moore, and of course Jared Wright is here as well. So as I figured we would, we're running out of time really quickly. We got about 15 or 20 minutes, guys. I knew we'd get through like 3 things.
There's a book sitting right here.
Johnny,
so both guests, for both times we've done this, the people that have attended need to write books. We need to get a book written about these people and their knowledge and everything. So
that is a fact.
We need some Cherokee history there.
Well, Terry, let's step back. Let's stay with you, and you can finish your thought if you still want to go on. But I want to show off those rings for a second.
Okay.
Terry, of course, was a coach for Elizabethton High School. 3 consecutive state championship games. You come away with wins over 2 of those. Hold those up over that helmet a little bit. And I think Josh has got some pictures loaded as well. We want to show those things off. How exciting, Terry, to go through a season with a high school football team that culminates in a state championship. It had to be big.
Well, first of all, going 15-0 in high school is tremendous. I mean, to do that is a lot of work. And believe me, when December gets here, you're just totally wore out.
It's a season and a half.
It's a season and a half.
You know, I mean,
and we did it 2 years running. We went 33-0 before we lost again, and then went back to the state championship. So I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I could not. I think all the shortcomings in my life, from not being at middle. And then getting a second chance to go to UTC again after I got out of the Marine Corps, but I was married and my wife got pregnant, so I put those things away and got my work through Mayfields. Thank you, Scotty Mayfields. They helped pay for my tuition at Tennessee Wesleyan, which got my degree in finance and economics.
There we go, Bulldogs. There
yes,
we go.
Sir.
I love it.
It's a feeling like no other. I mean, in high school, where football in the state of Tennessee and football in a lot of states is king, and it's like walking around as a god for a short moment. I mean, because that's the way we felt. We got celebrated like nobody's business, and we still get celebrated. I mean, and Elizabethton will be back in the state championship game this year too. I'll promise you that. But it's very. You learn about yourself and you learn about your kids on how mentally tough that you have to be. And I think that's where we're losing out nowadays, is our kids are no longer mentally tough no more. And we go back to that with like John Molnax and Coach Rowlich and them, where they made us so mentally tough that whatever happened, especially after football, that I knew I was going to get through it, because even though I've been beat up and kicked and whatever, some of it might have been self-inflicted or whatever, I knew I could pick myself up, dust myself off, and move to the next play.
Yeah.
And that's where I think we're losing our young men and women now, is we're not as mentally tough. Because our generation is making it easier for our kids, because we don't want them to live the way we lived, and we're losing out on that.
Yep.
And so that's why I coach and want to coach. I want to make sure that we can get our kids back on that level of knowing that, hey, no matter what, life is going to go on.
Yeah.
All right. You're going to have a bad day. All right. You're going to have a bad day at work, so on and so forth. But guess what? You got to move on to the next play. You got to move on to the next day. And
let me stay on championships for just a second, and let's turn back to Shazan, and let's talk about your wrestling career, because you had 2 state championships as a wrestler. Is that correct?
Yeah,
back to back.
Man, he was had a phenomenal coach,
Coach David
Storker. Let me tell you something. I've been whipped like there's no tomorrow. One time I got beat. I got beat by over 15 points. I was telling the referee, he blew the whistle, said the thing's over. I'm like, hey man, we still got 2 minutes. He said, no man, it's the dequal. You're done. Finish. But you know, David Stroker is a Christian man. And out of all the things I've done, I've been looking at him and got caught, got pinned, all kinds of stuff. I've never ever heard the man ever say one foul word. Dog it, dang it, pay attention next time. Yep. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And he taught me how to. He was smart. Because, you know, my junior, senior year, I went down to UTC every day to wrestle. That's where I learned how to wrestle at.
Yeah.
Better competition, bigger, stronger people, more pressure. Because one thing about wrestling is it's a pressure game. You got to understand what the time is, who has to go down. Do I have to make the move, or he has to make the move, and I got to counter on what move he makes. But it was one thing about, I tell my friends, they're always in college, like, Brady, you're never afraid about about getting beat up. I said, man, I might not win the fight, but I'm not going to get hurt because I know how to wrestle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was great. I mean, like I said, it's spending that time with him it was wonderful.
And I had him in class when I was here several years after you all were here, and he would still talk about being one of the best athletes he's seen. People would ask him, and he would talk about the wrestling more than the football. Of course, that's what he had a front row seat. So I know he's still you're still up there in category of his special athletes.
Oh, we saw some things. And it's funny. I had a gym teacher at Ingleside. His name was Pete Harrell. Pete Harrell taught me how to win. He was a good-looking guy, kind of quiet, very laid back, but super smart. And he said, let me tell you something, Shazam Bradley. Anytime you go through a competition, you better have plan 1, plan 2, and plan 3. And I said, what's plan 3 for? Plan 3 is the game's already over. But you never lose. The time just run out, son.
Yeah.
Never quit. You never quit. And he was one of the greatest motivators. I'll never forget. I think of Pete all the time. You know, I'm like, wow. I have no idea where Mr. Harrell's at, but I wish him well. I know he's a vet. I found he was a vet the other day. But wonderful guy.
Talk about your experience a little bit with Coach Majors. Let's get back to your time at the University of Tennessee, which was a special time in Vol history, really.
Yes. I don't know how Coach Majors got all of those thugs in one area and nobody got killed. Let me tell you, man, I played with some guys, man, they was rougher than rough.
Rip off some of those names, the guys you played with.
Yeah, but oh man, Hot Rod Lewis from Mobile, Alabama, boy, I was the world's worst, but one of the best Christian men you ever met in your life to this day. And what Majors done, Majors would bring him in like that, but he would grind and grind and grind. Majors was a hard guy to play for. He was a hard guy to coach for. If you wasn't giving 110%, he was all over you. He's never said anything to me ever. He never would. But this is the deal. He recruited me for McMinn County because McMinn County people was tough. They wouldn't quit. And you get them in a fight, they'll figure out a way to win that summer gun. Same thing with the guys out of Milan, Tennessee. We do something, he's like, hey, I know you know better than this.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, and sometimes he can't remember our names, but he could tell you where he was from 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So, I was always McMinn County, but it was John was a wonderful guy to play for. And I saw, the good thing about him is if you was giving 110% and that guy over there, Bo Jackson, was just better than you, and he beat you that day, he was just as happy. Because you give him all these guys, and Bo Jackson was just a better man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I asked him, Coach, why are you so happy about this? We lost. He said, something? I made men today. I made good men today.
Well, and I think what you hit a good point there, because I think he liked McMinn County boys because that's how he came. That's the area where he came from. That's the way they played, I think. And I think he looked for that in players. Would you agree with that?
Yes. And I guess I said, Coach, we was talking about running backs one day. I said, who's the greatest running back you ever had? He said, a guy named Hubert Simpson.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
You know what I'm
saying? He said, I hated that lawyer he had, too. But he said, I hated him, boy. But, it was a tough game. It was, you had school that he had to attend to. It was, this is a small town here. You go up there, it's a big world. And, I was very fortunate to have a guy like him, and Coach Farmer he recruited me. He brought me there. And it was nice. It was not. It was tough. It was a tough career. Could have been a lot of woulda, shouldas. I like Kentucky better than like anywhere, but the kids that McMinn County wanted me to go to Tennessee, so that's where I went.
Stay just a little bit closer.
Well, it's funny. We still talk like a family. The kids I grew up with. We still see one another, get together. It was different community. You got to think about when we started school in the '70s. The integration was just getting over with.
Yeah.
We started out like, well, what's up? You know what I mean? So we grew up just a little different. Our parents didn't quite understand it then. They do now.
Yeah.
But it's a different place.
Terry, we got to kind of start closing things
Yes,
down
sir.
here. But tell us, and by the way, guys, you have the invitation. I think you're going to join us at halftime. So we're
Okay.
up in the booth. If you guys can find just a little more time,
Yes, sir.
well, it'll be just
Sir.
5-10 minutes. We'll be a little more rushed.
I knew it was going to be this way. That's why I shot you that
I
email.
knew. So, Terry, it kind of in closing, tell us what you do now. Tell us about your family. What?
I still coach. I would be remiss without saying thank you to Sean Witten. I've been with his
Yes, thank you.
his program for 9 years, and what I do love most about him, and the reason why we do win, is he's Coach Molnax on steroids.
Okay.
Great coach, probably the best in the state, probably best in the nation. Everybody that don't know, he's Jason Witten's brother, Hall of Fame tight end. So they have a winning personality that it's just in their DNA.
Yep.
But now I am an HR specialist for the VA. I recruit and hire veterans, which
Great.
is big to my heart also.
Yep.
On top of giving my time to coaching, I coach, mentor, and train young youth, men and women. I do a nice explosive and quick feet program. I have a beautiful wife, and I have 4 kids, Alex Smith, Taylor King, Jordan Moore, and Jackson Moore.
Okay.
Both my older girls have my 2 beautiful granddaughters, Chandler Ray and Truvy. And so I've been blessed and been blessed to come a long ways and come
Absolutely.
full circle. And like I said, McMinn County is not my home anymore, but McMinn County is what made me to get to where I am today. And every time I come home, I drive through the Clem Joneses and the McMinn Villas and all that to reset my mind that, hey, just because I made it, I can't forget where I came from.
Yep.
So a lot of good people in this town, a lot of great people has helped me and helped Shazan. And like I said, I'd be reminisced without saying this one name, because this man right here started it all basically around here in Little League football for the youth and the projects and so forth. And that's Jim Burnett, who was the Riceville Wildcats coach, and he got a bus, and he was the first one to come to projects and get the youth and say, hey, you kids need to play a sport, and I want to teach it to you. And his son Mikey Barnett and Pumpkin and all them, and the Ivans, Hammonds, and all those men who I look up to. And the reason why I do it is because they did it. I seen those guys would come straight from work in their boots and everything, and would coach us and organize us and give us good information and so on and so forth, and try to make young men of us.
Yep.
And that's why I coach to this day. Is not for me. It's because the main man who helped me tremendously, Larry Roseberry Sr., and I told that man I owed him my life, and he's like, nope, you just pay it forward.
Amen.
Great words, great
Amen.
words. Shazan, kind of the same question. What are you into these days? Tell us about your family.
Well, I brought 7-on-7 to Knoxville about 10 years ago, and then I sort of messed with it a little bit. And it's funny because I get out there one day, I'm out there, and I got the guys with me. I'm like, I need a cover 1. I need a cover 2. I need a cover 3. I need a 3-man. So I get on the phone. I call my cousin Terry. Terry, this is what I need. He's like, and I'm panicking because Terry's like, okay, cousin, hang on. He gets on the phone. He sends me everything I need.
Oh,
and it's funny because he knows everything about the game, you know.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. And I got 2 wonderful children. I got a little boy. He plays at Cornell.
Yep.
He's a pre-med student, and I got the apple of my eye is my little girl.
Yep.
She's at UT. So
Great. Guys, I can't thank you enough for being here. Now remember, folks, we're gonna spend a little more time with these guys at halftime. They're going to be our guests for Cherokee Chat. So be sure during the broadcast tonight that you hang around at halftime. Jared, thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
Glad you were along for the ride here tonight.
Inspirational. That's what I mean. That's the word I've got right now, is just hearing the stories and what you all could do and to come from and persevere to get through everything.
And that's what we wanted to share tonight.
Yep,
I mean,
it's huge.
Guys, all the athletics, it's all great. It's great accomplishments and everything, but man, who you become and being a man, that's what it's about. Sports is the vehicle to get you there.
Right.
It
education, and that's the message I try to teach and want to teach, especially young men and women who was in my situation, who come from living in not such a good environment. That it's what you decide once you get to that age, and you can do it if you use the right avenues.
Absolutely.
And another thing, it's up to our teachers, our principals, and our coaches to write that roadmap.
Yes.
And they wrote the roadmap, and I just took it along the way. They wrote it. I didn't write it. They did. You know.
All right, I want to thank our sponsor, Star Regional Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Of course, again, Josh Bogus Videography, everybody back at the station. We're going to swing it back to the station. Will, I know Will or Dan is sitting there listening. We'll swing it back to you right now. We're going to take just a quick break because the coach's bench is coming up at 7 o'clock. So be sure that you're back here on air at 7 o'clock for Bo Cagle and the coach's bench, and kickoff is at 7:30. Guys, thanks a lot, and
Thank you, sir.
we're
Thanks for
signing
having
off.
Thank you, sir.